Before you set this down and go, my child, give me just a few quiet minutes of your evening. I know the room around you may be empty right now. I know the silence in it has felt heavier than usual lately. And still, somehow, you are here, listening. Maybe that is worth pausing for. You do not need company to be welcome here. You do not need a single person beside you to be loved in this moment. You only need to stay and let these words reach the part of you that feels the most alone. Loosen your shoulders. Unclench your hands. Let the breath you have been holding finally come out. For these few minutes, you do not have to hold yourself together for anyone. Before we go further, let me be honest with you, because you have had enough things dressed up to sound bigger than they were. What you are about to hear is an encouragement drawn from the Bible, a reflection offered to you in faith. It is not a private revelation. It is not a prediction about your life, and it is not a promise of any particular outcome. It is simply the steady comfort of Scripture, read slowly and kindly over a heart that has felt forgotten. And tonight, there is one promise I want to lay underneath everything else we say. It comes from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 5. These are words the Scriptures record as the promise God Himself gave. Listen to them slowly and let each word land. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Read that again in the quiet of your own heart. Never leave you, never forsake you. Not when you are easy to love, and not when you are hard to be near. Not when the room is full, and not when the room is empty. This is not a feeling that comes and goes. It is a promise that was written down to outlast every lonely night you would ever face. And tonight, that ancient promise is being spoken gently over you. So let these next words come to you the way the Scriptures speak of the Father's heart, as if He were sitting close beside you in this empty room and saying, "My child, you are not alone." I know it does not feel that way. I know how loud the quiet has become in your house. I know there are evenings you have looked at your phone and realized no one would call, and no one would notice the silence on the other end. The Scriptures describe a God who is near to the brokenhearted, close to those who feel crushed and cast aside. As one of the Psalms puts it, "The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart." You were never out of my sight, not even on the days you felt completely overlooked by everyone. I have been in the rooms where you sat by yourself. I have heard the words you wanted to say to someone and swallowed because there was no one there to say them to. I have watched you carry your whole life with no hand reaching out to help you carry it. And I did not walk away. I know you have started to wonder if anyone would even notice you were gone. That thought has crept in late at night, hasn't it? The quiet fear that you could simply disappear and the world would close over the space you left without a ripple. But hear me clearly. That thought is not the truth, and it is not my voice. You are not a space the world would close over. You are not a name the heavens would forget. The Scriptures say that even the hairs of your head are numbered, that not one small life is overlooked by the one who made it. What feels like being unseen by people has never once meant being unseen by me. You have mattered every single day you have been alive, including the days you were certain you didn't. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone, and you are not too easy to leave behind. The loneliness that whispers otherwise is real in how it feels, but it is not telling you the truth about your worth. There is a voice you have learned to live with, haven't you? A quiet, familiar voice that has kept you company in the worst way. It speaks in your own tone, so you have assumed for years that it was simply you. thinking out loud. It tells you that people always leave you in the end. It tells you that you are too much for some and not enough for others. It says that the ones who walked away saw something in you that made you easy to abandon. And in the dark, it lists them for you, one by one. Every person who is no longer here. My child, hear me. That voice is a liar. It does not speak for heaven, and it does not speak for the one who formed you and stayed. So when that old voice begins its familiar speech tonight, answer it with something truer than it has ever told you. When it says everyone leaves, the truth says, I will never leave you. When it says you will always be alone, the truth says, I am with you, even now. When it says no one would stay, the truth says, I already have, and I always will. You do not have to silence that voice with a perfect argument. You only have to stop believing it. So if you are listening tonight in a house that feels too quiet, this is for you. If you are the one who is always reaching out first and slowly growing tired of being the only one who reaches, this is for you. If you have sat at a table surrounded by people and still felt completely unknown, this is for you. If you have whispered, would anyone even miss me, into a dark room and heard nothing back, then this especially is for you. You do not have to hide your loneliness here. You do not have to make it smaller so it is easier for others to look at. You do not have to pretend you are fine when the truth is that you ache to simply be wanted. Come as you are. The scriptures tell of a God who does not stand far off, waiting for you to find your way to him. In the Gospels, when one lost sheep wandered away from the 99, it was the shepherd who left the comfort of the others and went searching through the dark until he found the one. Notice the direction of that love. The lost one did not have to climb home alone. The shepherd went out into the cold, into the places no one else would go, for the single one who was missing. If you have felt like the one who got separated, the one no one came back for, hear this. Heaven has always been the kind of love that comes looking. You were never meant to find your way back by yourself. You were meant to be found. And there is a quiet truth in the scriptures that many people live their whole lives without ever letting reach them. In the book of Deuteronomy, when a weary people stood afraid of the road ahead, they were told something I want you to hold tonight. They were told that the Lord their God goes with them, that he would not fail them and would not forsake them. Hear what that means for you. The promise was never only that he would meet you at the destination. The promise was that he goes with you, step by step, through the very middle of the lonely road. Not waiting at the end, walking beside you the whole way there. So even now, on this stretch of the journey that feels the emptiest, you are not making it alone. And I want to speak to all the times you reached out into the silence and felt nothing answer back. The nights you prayed with no words, only a heaviness you couldn't name. The mornings you got up, made the coffee for one, and felt the quiet press in before the day even began. You thought those moments simply vanished, unheard, into an empty ceiling. But the scriptures say that your sorrow is not hidden from God, that he keeps account of your wandering and gathers your tears. Not one lonely evening was unseen. Not one silent ache was missed. None of it disappeared into nothing, and none of it ever meant you were truly on your own. Sometimes the company you longed for did not come in the form you expected. Sometimes the comfort was quieter than a voice or a face. But underneath the silence, in the place your feelings could not reach, you were being kept, and you were being carried. You were never as alone in those rooms as you believed yourself to be. Now, I know you may not feel any of this yet. When a heart has been alone for a long time, comfort arrives slowly, and trust comes back even slower. And that is all right. The truth does not wait for your feelings to agree with it before it becomes true. You are held, whether or not you can feel the holding tonight. And this promise was written down long before you were born, so that it could find you in exactly the kind of evening you are having right now. So let me say it again, plainly, the way you may have needed someone to say it for years. You are not alone. Not watched from a distance, but accompanied, known, and chosen to be stayed with. The world taught you to measure your worth by how many people surround you, by whether you are popular or needed, or never the one left out. But that is not how heaven measures a life. Your value was never tied to the size of the crowd around you. It was tied to the love of the one who made you, and that one has never gone anywhere. That love does not grow when people gather near you, and it does not shrink when they drift away. When you are surrounded, you are loved. When you are completely alone, you are loved just the same. When others choose you, you are loved. And on the nights when no one does, you are loved still. I want you to think back for a moment on the loneliest seasons you have already lived through. The stretches you were sure you couldn't survive without someone beside you. The nights the silence felt like it might swallow you. And yet here you are, still standing, still breathing, still here. Do you ever wonder how you made it through those empty hours with no one to lean on? How a strange calm sometimes settled over you on a night you had every reason to come apart. How you found just enough will to face one more morning when the evening before you felt you had nothing left. The scriptures would call that the nearness of a presence you could not see. You did not survive that loneliness because you were strong enough to do it alone. You survived because you were never truly alone in it. Even when there was no hand in yours, there was a hand you could not feel, holding you all the same. And here is something the loneliness has been keeping you from seeing. The solitude you resented has been quietly shaping you into someone with depth that the crowded never learn. You think you have only been losing people, but you have also been growing a heart that knows how to be present with the forgotten. The compassion you feel for others who sit alone, you earned that in your own empty rooms. The gentleness you carry toward people no one else notices, that came from knowing exactly how it feels to go unnoticed. The quiet strength it takes to keep loving people even after some have left, that was not handed to you. It was forged. None of that pain was wasted, and none of those lonely seasons were for nothing. One day you will sit beside someone who feels as unseen as you feel tonight, and because you have been there, you will know exactly how to stay. What loneliness tried to take from you, grace has been quietly turning into a gift you will give to someone else. And let me speak gently to the comparison that has been stealing what little peace you have left. You have looked at other people's full tables, their easy friendships, the lives that seem crowded with belonging, and decided something is wrong with you. You have asked yourself why connection comes so easily to others and so painfully to you. But your worth was never measured by how full your life looks from the outside. You are not a lesser version of someone whose phone never stops ringing. The scriptures are full of people who walked through long stretches alone, set apart in the wilderness, waiting in the dark, abandoned by the very ones they trusted, and never once abandoned by God. Being alone for a season has never meant being less loved. So stop weighing your life against a crowd you were never meant to chase. You are exactly where the nearness of God can still reach you. And that nearness has never once arrived too late. So tonight, I am asking you to set down a few of the things you were never meant to carry alone. Lay down the belief that you are too much for people to stay for. Lay down the bitterness toward the ones who left. The weight of it is only poisoning you. Lay down the fear that tomorrow will be just as empty as today. That fear has no right to write your future. You were not made to carry those things, and you certainly were not made to carry them by yourself. And about the people who walked away, the ones you replay, the goodbyes you still don't understand, the door that closed without an explanation. Hear this carefully, my child. Their leaving is not the measure of your worth. Their absence does not write the truth about you. The scriptures promise that even if a mother could somehow forget the child she nursed, the one who made you will not forget you. People may forget, people may leave, but you were engraved on the heart of the one who formed you, and that does not fade. So let the leaving rest now, not because it didn't hurt, but because it no longer gets to define how loved you are. If these words have stirred something in you, you do not need to do anything dramatic. You do not owe anyone a comment to make this real. You do not have to prove your loneliness to a stranger to be taken seriously. But if you would like, take this quiet moment and let it become a small and simple prayer. It can be as plain as this. Lord, I feel alone. Help me to believe that you are here. There are no perfect words required. The scriptures show God meeting people in sighs and tears and prayers too tired to finish. Your honesty is more than enough. And if someone comes to mind right now, someone you know is sitting alone tonight, you are welcome to send this their way. Not as a chain, not as a demand, just as a kindness, the way you would pull up a chair next to someone eating by themselves. Now here is one gentle but important reminder, and I will not hurry past it. Faith is a deep comfort, but it is not a replacement for care. If the loneliness has grown heavy in a way that frightens you, or if your mind has gone to dark places when no one is around, please reach out to a doctor, a counselor, or someone you trust. You were never meant to carry the heaviest things in total isolation. Asking for help is not a failure of faith. It is wisdom, and it is brave. And before we come to the end, let me ask one simple thing of you. Hold on a little longer. I am not telling you the empty rooms will suddenly fill tomorrow. I am not handing you a date or a name or a guarantee of who will come. I am telling you what faith has always whispered to the lonely, that you are accompanied even now, and your story is far from over. You have made it through every isolated night you have ever faced. Every single one. Think about that. That was not nothing. That was a presence carrying you on the very evenings you were sure you were carrying yourself. And the same nearness that brought you this far is not about to leave you now. So when the house feels too quiet, hold on. When the loneliness rises up in the dark, hold on. When you cannot imagine who could ever stay, remember the one who promised he never would leave, and hold on. So as this message comes toward its close, I want to leave one truth in your hands to carry into tomorrow. You are not alone, and you never have been. Let the promise we began with be the one we end on. Recorded in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 5. I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee. Whatever this lonely season has taken from you, the final word over your life is not abandonment. The one who made you has promised to stay, and that promise was never built to break. I will not promise you a crowd. I will not promise you a date when the loneliness lifts. I will not pretend to know the things only God knows. You have been handed enough empty words by people who left, and I will not add to that pile. But I can leave you with what the scriptures say with full confidence. You are not alone. He is with you. He will not leave you. He will not forsake you. He goes with you down every road, all the way through. So lift your head tonight, not because the room is suddenly full, but because the truest companion you have was never going to leave it. Take one more slow breath now, and let this be the truth you fall asleep on. You are seen, you are accompanied, and you are loved. If words of hope like these bring you any peace, you are always welcome to stay close to this quiet little corner where we simply sit with the scriptures together. And wherever tomorrow takes you, however empty the day may feel, may you walk through it knowing that the one who made you has promised never to let go of your hand. Peace be with you, my friend. You are not alone. Rest now.